Alright, today we're going to be solving log equations, or a log equation. We're going to do it three ways. We're going to solve it analytically, by hand, the way you would do it on your homework or quiz or test. And then we're also going to do it graphically using Geometer Sketchpad, but you could also do it graphically using your calculator. And I want to do it with a cAs, a computer algebra system. I'm going to use the internet and use a website called Wolfram Alpha, which you guys should be using and have used all year long. Notice we have two logs on the left side and no logs on the right side. In order to isolate the x, we have to combine the two logs on the left side. So we're going to use a property where we take the sum of two logs and write it as a single log, the product. So it's log base 2 of the quantity x times x minus 2. Leave the right side the same. Now I've got this as a single log. I can distribute the inside to simplify it. We just distribute x squared minus 2x. Now in order to get these x's out of the log, I need to rewrite this log equation as an exponential equation. So the base of the exponential equation is 2. So 2 to the exponent is 3, so 2 to the third power equals x squared minus 2x. And that's just using the definition of a log. 2 cubed is 8. To solve this quadratic equation, we got to get all the values on one side and get 0 on the other side. So that'd be x squared minus 2x. Basically I'm subtracting 8 from both sides. Now this is factorable. Looking for factors of 8 that have a difference of 2. That would be 4 and 2. Since this is a minus, I'm going to make the bigger one minus, smaller one plus. So x equals, set each of these equal to 0. X equals negative 2 and positive 4. Now because this was a logarithmic equation to start out with, whenever we get rid of the logs, we could introduce extraneous solutions. So we need to check both of these. You don't have to check it all the way through. You just need to make sure that when you plug these values in, you're not taking the log of 0 or the log of a negative, because you can only take logs of positive values. So if I plug a negative 2 in here for x, I get the log of negative 2, so that solution is not valid. If I plug a 4 in for x, that's positive, and if I take 4 minus 2, that's positive, so my solution is x equals 4. And that's my final answer. Alright, so we found this solution, x equals 4, to this equation analytically, meaning by hand. Now let's verify it graphically, or find it graphically. We can't graph an equation using graphing technologies. We have to graph functions. So I'm going to call the right side of the function, we'll call that y1, or f of x. So just y equals 3 is the right side. The left side, we'll call that y2, or g of x. And that would be log base 2 of x plus log base 2 of the quantity x minus 2. Now the problem with this is most technology can't graph logs of all these different bases. They don't need to. Most will only do the natural log, which is log base e, and the common log, which is log base 10. So I'm going to write this y2 function in terms of the natural log. It would be the ln of x over the ln of 2. Now I'm just applying the change of base formula. You can take the log of any base of x divided by the log of that same base of 2, and that would be equivalent to the log base 2 of x. Do the same thing on this side, natural log of x minus 2 over the natural log of 2. So these are the two functions, this one here and this one, that we're going to graph with technology. Alright, so I'm going to fire up Geometer Sketchpad. Go to window, graph. I want to define a coordinate plane to give myself a graphing plane. Now in order to graph a new function, we're going to go to graph, plot new function, and the first function was just y equals 3, or y1 equals 3. And as you can see, y equals 3 is just a horizontal line through 3. To graph the second function, now this will be the more interesting function. So what I'm going to just go bring it back up here. This is exactly what I'm going to have to type into the Geometer Sketchpad. So if I go to functions, it gives me that ln. So I'm going to take the ln of x divided by the ln of 2 plus the natural log of the quantity x minus 2 divided by the natural log of 2. And here you can see it just like you would type in your calculator, but here you see it in pretty print form. And that is the exact same thing as this. So we're good. I guess it's not that interesting of a function, but here's the second function right here. You can see it. Make it a little thicker. We can change the color, make it look however we want. So the intersection between these two, the x value that makes these two the same, is going to be your solution. So if I click on the point tool and drag it to where it snaps to both of them and highlights both of them, that's going to be the solution, or the intersection between those two. And I can measure the coordinates of that point. The coordinates of that point are 4, 3, which tells us that the x value would be the solution to this, which is x equals 4.0. So we get the same solution graphically. And then also notice, whenever I graphed this one originally, I had an extraneous solution of x equals -2. But we had to throw that one out. And you can see graphically why we have to throw that one out. I mean, x can equal -2 to the right side, but the left side, the natural logs, there is no function over here. The function isn't defined for anything smaller than it looks like +2. So that x equals -2 wasn't a valid solution. Alright, the last thing I want to show you with this problem is how to check this with Wolfram Alpha. Wolfram Alpha, again, is the web-based mathematics program that I encourage you guys to use to check solutions, and it can help you with some other things as well. So if we want to check this with Wolfram Alpha, we're just going to fire up whatever Internet Explorer you guys use. I'm going to use Internet Explorer, and just type in Wolfram Alpha. So what Wolfram Alpha does is it'll take, you can just type in whatever input you want here, and it can do most any math problem that you can come up with. It's very powerful. So I'm going to type in solve, because we want to solve an equation. And I want to solve, I'm going to just type it in just as we see it here. It recognizes it. So I'm going to take the log base 2 of x plus log base 2 of x minus 2, and that's got to equal 3. And I want to solve this for x. So solve, and then I type this in just as you would read it. Log base 2 of x plus log base 2 of x minus 2 equals 3 for x. Solve this equation for x. And hit enter. So you can see that it recognized the input perfectly. That's a good check to see if what you typed in was good enough. It's exactly my equation. I want to solve it for x, and you can see the result is x equals 4. Wolfram Alpha automatically graphs it. It doesn't have the same scale as the graph that we made, but that's alright. We can still see the horizontal line and the log function, and it intersects at 4.